nostalgic being here. Knightscope was founded in 2013. We graduated from Plug and Play in 2014, or got kicked out, whichever way you want to look at it. So it's great to be back here. It's been a long, long road, but we're really excited about Knightscope's future and appreciate you having me here. So I'm going to take the time today to brief you, as I did Congress on Capitol Hill earlier this year, so you have a good understanding of the challenges that America faces. So as you heard, we're on this slightly ludicrous long-term mission to see if we can make the United States of America the safest country in the world. Sounds ludicrous. Now working the problem for 12 years, we actually have a path, a line of sight to actually do it, which gets really exciting. So what's the problem? What's the crisis? Well, crime has a $2.6 trillion negative economic impact on the US every single year. It's a hidden tax we all pay in blood, tears, and treasure. There's a violent crime that occurs every 26 seconds and a property crime every 4 seconds. The system is broken. And what is the first role of government is to protect its citizens. And the local, state, and federal authorities are failing miserably at doing this. Their sole job. So if I go back for a second and talk about the role of government, this will be a little long, but I need you to understand the context. Why is this broken? It's because we're structurally not set up as a country to actually deliver what was promised. So the US Department of Defense has nearly $1 trillion budget. There's one person in charge, the Secretary of Defense. There's a Raytheon, a Lockheed Martin, a Northrop Grumman, a General Dynamics to build up 2+ million soldiers, anything they might need on the battlefield in a theater of war. Right? And there's this massive innovation budget. There's stuff coming out the other side all the time. Submarines, jet fighters, tanks, drones, ISR, whatever you want at your fingertips. You have that capability. On our own soil, that doesn't happen. The US Department of Homeland Security and the US Department of Justice have no federal jurisdiction over 19,000 law enforcement agencies and 8,000 private security firms. There's literally no one in charge. There's no innovation budget. And nearing 2026, we have 2.5 million law enforcement professionals and security guards trying to secure 332 million Americans with the technological equivalent of a number 2 pencil and a notepad, and then we're wondering why it doesn't work. It's structurally flawed. So what about the private sector? Well, we're here to talk about AI, and I think we'll get to kind of my biggest concerns. But if you look at the private sector, it's a little even scarier. So I'm going to make you a fake PowerPoint bar graph on stage here. So we're going to go over here. Imagine there's a bar graph that goes all the way up here. Cut it in 3. There's 3 very large guarding companies in the US, Allied Universal, Securitas, and GardaWorld. They generate $30 billion of revenue in the US alone and employ 500,000 people, 500,000 security guards. Okay? So now I'm going to go over here to the other side. This little speck over here that you can't see, and that's the point. If you add up everybody working on public safety, law enforcement, security, be it Flock Safety, LiveView Technologies, Knightscope, Code Blue, whatever Verkada you want to name, it's literally 1% of headcount, about 5,000 people. And this hasn't changed over 10 years. There's something fundamentally flawed of this society not wanting to change its ways. And that scares the hell out of me when it comes to AI. So what's the solution? Well, now having worked the problem for over a decade, it's hardware to generate both a physical deterrence and gather a good amount of data and have unprecedented situational awareness for a guard and officer to actually have tools to do their jobs. Software. A lot of these machines, including ours, generate over 90 terabytes of data a year. There's no way a human's going to process that. And then you actually need a human element to do the enforcement. And so what are we building? So in the next decade, Knightscope's focused on building an autonomous security force, the nation's first. And I briefed the Department of Homeland Security and the Pentagon, and you could see eyebrows raised. We can't continue doing this over and over again expecting a different result. So we're going to be building additional hardware, additional software capabilities, and then defining the next generation augmented human security guard that will deter. So part of the weird thing, a lot of people see some of the robots that we have there, like, why are they so big? It's like 5 foot tall, 400 pounds. Why can't you make a little one? It's like, well, if you hang out with some of these criminals, you just, kind of take it. People don't understand that. So you need to deter. What does that mean? If I put a cop car in front of your home or your office, what happens? Criminal behavior changes. Just physically being there stops a lot of the silliness from happening in the first place. Then you need to be able to detect any anomalies. So the machines can obviously do facial recognition, detect a person, read license plates, run a thermal scan of the environment, whatever that might be, and then be able to report. So this is basically what a security guard does. And so we're in the process of putting 1 million machines in network across the country that can see, feel, hear, smell, speak, and autonomously cooperate. Let's do some quick math as to why the system today is broken. 1.5 million security guards, 1 million law enforcement professionals, 85 million cameras, 300,000 cop cars. Doesn't work. Oh, by the way, you can't triple shift a human. These need to run 24/7. So those 2.5 million people that we just spoke of, you got to divide by 4. Okay, so now they only have like 600,000 humans trying to secure 332 million Americans across 50 states. This is insanity. Would you ever, take a soldier in a theater of war, like, here's a taser and a CB radio, like, good luck. You would never do that. But somehow, we got 2.5 million officers and guards, get up every morning on our own soil, willing to take a bullet for you and your family, and the level of technology that we provide to them as a country is beneath the dignity of this nation, and it needs to change. So we've operated fully autonomously for over 4 million hours. So this is not pie in the sky stuff. We've operated multiple summers and winters, every time zone and almost every environment. You can't build this kind of stuff in a laboratory. So that field experience gives us a significant competitive advantage. And so later next year, we'll start producing the all-new 2026 K7 autonomous security robot to take all those learnings from those 4+ million hours and put them to patrol much larger environments at higher speeds. And so the White House had asked us for input on the AI action plan. We went off and analyzed how much the federal government spends on securing the nearly 10,000 facilities with 13,000 officers and guards and failing miserably at it. We estimate that we could probably save the federal government about $10 billion annually. But no one wants to change. So my biggest concern on AI is we are going too slow. All this technology you're hearing about during this conference, unbelievable stuff being built. The actual implementation, going nowhere. Large organizations don't want to change, government doesn't want to change, humans don't want to change. Do you know you're here in Silicon Valley, half of the engineers around here don't want to use AI? This is mind-blowing. This is complete insanity. It's like, here's fire and here's electricity. Nah, I don't know. It's too much. I don't want to use that. And so what I try to encourage Congress and the administration is to put this piece of legalese in a bill to create a national robotics strategy and not to go spend more money, actually to reduce it. I want you to take 1% of every department and every agency's budget, and thou shalt use it for robotics, automation, and autonomous. To force that change to happen, because the government can actually be that catalyst. We're sitting there in all kinds of committee meetings with the China task force and this, that, and the other thing, the intelligence community, worried about supply chains, worried about all this other training and all this other stuff. You want to fix all that? Just fix the demand spike. You can't get society to change, you can't. I've spent half a decade working on one particular agency, I won't name them. They have a problem. They have budget issues. They have manpower issues, even worse after Doge went through. Still not willing to change. Like, I think we need a mandate. And so, to my surprise, after I briefed Congress, I thought they were like, okay, nice presentation, get out of here. The staff actually asked for the wording, so let's see if we can get it over the finish line. But I think this is really important. So, I hope you'll join us and be a force for good. We actually now trade on NASDAQ. The ticker symbol is KSCP, and I thank you for your time.